Hello and welcome to the Join Dota League Season 3 here on HeflaTV 2. We are going to have a best of 2 series between Mineski and Insidious Idol. Ninja Boogie is standing in for Insidious Idol. I'm not sure where he's going to be playing on their team. Earlier today he was playing on Rave as a support, so I'm going to assume that's the role he's going to take up for Idol, but I have no idea. We'll just have to see how it's going to affect the gameplay coming out from both of these two teams. As that is all out of the way now, we are going to get into the draft, and I'm going to be your caster throughout this series, grandest fee. So, as far as the early bans, it's looking pretty par for the course, with the exception of Lycan not being banned out. Oh no. I think we have a dire Lycan coming through. As much as I hate the hero, I think he's just too good to pass up, and Mineski get their hands on the first pick Lycanthrope. If they don't do something absolutely super clowny with this Lycan, I don't know, draft Sniper and Ogre Magi is as much fun as that would be to watch. I think that this game is going to start looking pretty scary for Insidious Idol. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's always something to be concerned of when you give away that dire Lycan, but in return they are going to get their hands onto a Shadow Shaman, which is pretty solid support up against the Lycanthrope. Although the Hex is going to do very little unless you catch him out before the Shapeshift, as a max move speed chicken is, I don't know, not as scary as the max move speed wolf, but still, it's able to escape, and at the very least, the defensive capabilities of Shapeshift will still be there. Shackles are pretty good at holding me in place. They'll also get the Razor, which are pretty good heroes up against the Lycan, but oh, Mineski, they also pick up the Tinker. They are not messing around with this draft. This is quite possibly the most scary two heroes you can give away to any one team if they have a really solid Tinker player, which I'm pretty sure Mineski do in the form of Jacko. His Tinker is definitely something to be feared. I think Mineski are going to be very happy with what they've gotten, but will they have the supporting cast to make enough space for his Tinker and Lycanthrope? Their early laning stage is going to be a tad greedy, coming out with these two, and that's almost an understatement. Tinker and Lycanthrope need their early items before they actually get online, but once they do have them, we are going to see a little bit of synergy coming out from both of them. The split push is going to be real, even if they start out behind. Boots of Travel Tinker as well as Lycanthrope is just so hard to play up against. Even if you get an early lane of racks and push down all of the outer two towers, those two can hold on for dear life for so long with minimal farm. And also we are going to see the synergy between Lycanthrope as well as Tinker with TPing into those Invis Wolves. Those Wolves are going to shred this poor Shadow Shaman, and if the Tinker is available and has a Boots of Travel ready, he can just bots in onto those Wolves and then zap down the poor Shadow Shaman on top of it. Yeah, I do not envy the Shadow Shaman's life in this game. If they get off to a poor start, I think it's all but over for Insidious Idol, and honestly, I think they should just fully commit in to try to push down Mineski before the Lycan and Tinker get their items online, because even if they take this extremely late, I'm not sure if they have what it takes because of the split pushing power from those two. Yeah, it's going to be something that I'd like to see from Insidious Idol. I think you just go balls deep into the push, go, I don't know, ban out the Nature's Prophet, that's a good start. Potentially ban out the Enigma, although that would make their laning very weak. Juggernaut's going to be picked up for Insidious Idol. I like the pick. It's going to offer them some good pushing power with the Healing Ward, and as long as you're able to get in range for the Shackles coming from Shadow Shaman, it's a very potent killing combo, although that is going to be the problem with these two. They've passed up the Skywrath Mage for it, and it's kind of a gamble. I think the Juggernaut pick, especially with so many units coming out from Mineski, mostly just the Wolves and Necronomicon coming out from Lycanthrope, he's going to have a problem finding out those Omni Slashes. Although if he isolates the Tinker solo, it could be good. I don't know. This Juggernaut pick feels kind of hit or miss, and for me, it's more a miss as far as the actual damage and killing potential early is concerned. The Healing Ward's going to be nice, but if you wanted just that healing potential, maybe a Witch Doctor would have been a better choice. If it pays out for Insidious Idol, it could be pretty huge and give them another semi-carry, but if they don't get kills with this Juggernaut early on, it's going to really put them at a huge disadvantage. Rubik, the pickup for Mineski, is going to offer them some decent spells to steal. Razor, if you can get your hands on Plasma Fuel, some decent counter push there. Juggernaut Healing Ward, always nice. Shadow Shaman Surfer Wards are really his big ticket spell, however, is if he's able to get those, it's almost as good as having your own Shadow Shaman on your team. You'll be able to transition those towers very effectively. It's kind of interesting to see Skywrath Mage ignored, as well as Earthshaker. I think those are probably going to be the next pickup for Mineski. Either one of those would be pretty solid. But yeah. It's all up to Insidious Idol now. They have to show their cards with this fourth pick. Although they have some good pushing tools, I think they need to just fully commit to it. And honestly, I would not be opposed to seeing something along the lines of like a mid Jakiro, and then go aggressive with the Razor, and then leave a Venomancer solo safe lane and just 5-man down the towers ASAP. Get a Mechanism on your Razor, get your level 6 on your Shadow Shaman, and kill towers. So that the Lycanthrope and Tinker are forced to fight, although if the Tinker still gets his boots of travel up in about 10 minutes, that could really throw a wrench into that plan. It's going to be risky no matter what Insidious Idol will do, because giving away a Lycanthrope and a Tinker in the first 2 picks is just so scary, and they're going to go for the Morphling. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan here. It's going to give them a little bit of counter push with the waveform, but that's about it. This Morphling's not going to get on the line, I feel, fast enough. If he does, however, get up an Ethereal Blade, the Tinker could definitely get blown up, as could the Rubik. In that sense, it's not the worst pick, and it's something that they're probably pretty comfortable with playing, but I think they needed to go a little bit less greedy and just commit all into the push. Pick up a Pugna, pick up a Venomancer, pick up a Jakiro, just anything to mow down those towers.
5 seconds.
Yeah, because I don't think this Morphling is going to actually be able to contest when Mineski get online with their heroes. Morphling needs a little bit more than Tinker and Lycanthrope do. Lycanthrope, all he needs is really the Vlads as well as a Necronomicon on top of that, and although that's a pretty hefty order to fill as far as farm is concerned, Morphling needs 2 big items before he actually feels like a very potent threat. He could just be going straight up for the rush of the Ethereal Blade, but more often than not, you're going to see the Lincoln Sphere first into the Eth Blade. And by that time, I think it's going to be too late. Yeah. Insidious Idol, they have some good spells to catch out the Tinker, but no Blink Initiator in order to do so. With Batrider as well as Tidehunter already taken out of the pool, Clockwork's available, although they don't have the best heroes to combo with that. They might consider something like a Centaur. It could be solid, although I don't think it's greedy enough on either side of the coin for Insidious Idol. Even if Razor, Juggernaut, and Morphling are all 6-slotted, if you're going up against a 6-slotted Lycan and Tinker, there's still the risk that you're going to lose the split-pushing war. Mineski, yeah, plenty of time to think of for this next pick. I think it's going to be an Earthshaker. Although Skywrath Mage would not surprise me with the solid silence up against the Morphling, that could be very potent. Yeah, I'm going to like either one of those picks. Although the block is going to be less reliable up against the Morphling, no, they go for something altogether different in the Disruptor. I would have liked the Skywrath Mage a little bit more. I think his single target silence is more or less what they need. It's better at locking down the Morphling and keeping him in place. But Disruptor can still kind of fit those shoes as well as offering more AoE teamfight. And since they're going to be grouping up instead of looking for
10 seconds to go.
The solo kills once they get those items on the Lycan and Tinker, maybe the Disruptor is going to fit the bill a little bit better for them than the Skywrath Mage. Centaur, the last ban coming out from Insidious Idol, so that's not going to be a pick for them either. I have no idea what this offlaner is going to be for Insidious Idol, actually. Let's see, the lane it's going up against is going to be a Lycan Rubik Disruptor. Although not the best lane, has a lot of harass damage with Howl as well as 2 ranged heroes also in that lane. They have a decent amount of killing potential, but not the best lockdown. They have Glimpse as well as Lift. You could go for a lot of different things, and it's also on the Radiant side, so they will have that going for them. But all of the 4, and in fact now all of the premier offlaners are taken out of the pools. Brewmaster is banned out, as well as the Centaur, Nature's Prophet, Doom, Faceless Void, Tidehunter, Batrider. It's all of them. Let's see, Darkseer is still in the pool, but we haven't been seeing him very much lately. And they're probably going to have the Mech Courier in the form of the Razor, so I doubt we'll be seeing the purple dude. Insidious Idol, I'm not sure what they have in mind. I think Brewmaster was probably the safest pick. It would control up the teamfights pretty well. Give them some way to disrupt the Tinker as well as Lycanthrope inside the teamfights. Lycanthrope can't do anything when he's thrown up in the air, but on the same token, he'll still have his summons doing structural damage, which is really where Mineski are going to have that powerhouse. Let's see, both teams do need their offlaner, and most of them have been banned out. Honestly, for Mineski, I think they might be able to get away with an Enigma offlane. Although up against a Juggernaut Shadow Shaman, that could be risky. And Morphling could probably farm up those Eidolons pretty effectively. But if it's something that they practice, it could offer a lot of pushing power as well as more AoE teamfight. Black Hole with Static Storm on top follow-up. It will be a Sand King for Insidious Idol. I think that's their offlaner, actually. It might be an offlane Juggernaut where they go for the spin and just spin and try to get experience and last hits while you're doing so. But I think this is actually going to be an offlane Sand King. Although not the most common of picks, I definitely can see it working out. Lycanthrope in lane, if he is left alone by the Rubik Disruptor, can get disrupted pretty effectively by a Caustic Finale point by the Sand King, which I'd like to see him pick up earlier than you usually see. He won't be relying as much on the jungle, but if his farm doesn't work out in lane and he's forced to do so, he'll have that option. So in that sense, he's going to work kind of like a Tidehunter, but no, Mineski, go for the Undying, and this is the second Undying pick I've seen today, and it was a hero that was very hyped up when we first saw the patch 6.81 and what have you. A lot of changes going into him to make him a lot more potent in the early game. And this tri-lane coming out from them, I'm going to presume it's an aggressive one with Undying as the farmer and that played by Oa. We're going to have Rubik Disruptor and Undying going aggressive. I don't know, that could put a lot of pressure onto this Borfling. Even if they leave the Undying alone, as long as he doesn't get caught out by the Shadow Shaman Shackles, he should be fine. So if he goes for boots first, I think this Undying could still be pretty effective as a solo laner and get that experience. He's probably going to be the mech carrier for his team, although not the fastest farming hero. It definitely can't come out at a decent time, and with a Lycanthrope as well as a Tinker, that magic, or that amp damage coming out from his ultimate is going to be pretty ridiculous. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Mineski utilizes Undying. Not the pick that I was expecting, but then again, with all of the offlaners pretty much denied to them, we're going to see some very peculiar pickups. Excuse me. As we have a pause to start things off in this game, as pretty standard for the Join Dota League. I'll go ahead and introduce our teams. On the Dire side, we are going to have Mineski with Joven playing in the Lycanthrope, Jesse Vash on the Disruptor, going to take him the Undying, play hard on the Rubik, and Jacko on his Tinker. On the Radiant side, we are going to have Insidious Idol with Bethel taking out the Sand King. Shagasaurus on the Juggernaut, Asira on the Razor's Red, on the Shadow Shaman, which will leave last but not least. Oh dear, I can't remember what hero it is. It is the Morphling, going to be played by Ninja Boogie, so not going to be on the support position this game. Not sure who normally plays support on the team of Insidious Idol, but we might even be seeing some lane shakeups as, whoa, that was a big amount of lag as we're going to see a pause coming out from Jacko. Yeah, looks like Ninja Boogie is actually going to swap to the Sand King. And that will be Ninja Boogie on the support Sand King, which is unfortunate. As he did buy all that early supporting stuff. It is going to be boots first for, oh dear, who already bought them? It is the Razor, so Sierra. Going to be pretty happy with how that turned out. Oh my goodness, I'm not even sure who that guy is. I think he's a caster that's going to... Okay. I have no idea, but GLA chef to both teams. Have fun. Yeah. I really feel that Insidious Idol are the ones that are going to be pressured very heavily this game. They need to make something happen, and with the Shadow Shaman Sand King supporting duo, they're going to have some difficulty doing so, as both of those heroes really have a hard time getting in range at these early levels. With 980 or 985 movements would be ridiculous, but 285 on your Shadow Shaman, as well as a fairly low range on your Shackles, as well as your low range on the Burrow Strike level 1. Ninja Boogie also going to have some pretty big problems lining up those early kills, and they'll probably want to do so if they want to kill off this Tinker. The Juggernaut, who is going to be farming, it seems. If they don't get kills in his lane, this Juggernaut's going to fall behind pretty quickly. And I'm not sure if Insidious Idol have what it takes to come back from a poor start, so it's going to be a favorable draft for Mineski, I feel. Just as securing all of their lanes and sapping the focus away from Lycanthrope and Tinker with this Undying pick. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a lot of pressure on Insidious Idol in the first 10 minutes of the game. And then after that, you're going to get your Tinker bots online, Vladimir's on your Lycanthrope, and then you have Roshan to start contesting. And then after that, it should be pretty smooth sailing for Mineski going to these towers, unless we see a really fast Blink Dagger on Ninja Boogie, which could allow them to counteract that. But with Jacko having some PC issues and not telling me what they are, I have absolutely nothing to talk about. It is incredibly early in the morning for me. I woke up at like 2 a.m. US time. I'm from the central US. Hoping to cast some Southeast Asian Dota, and, well, that game got postponed, as that was, oh, I can't remember. Yeah, too long ago, I suppose. But yeah, that one got postponed, then I co-casted with Coucher for some MPGL games, and now we go into the Join Dota League. No rest for the casters. I'll go ahead and take a look at the chat while the game is still paused. And, well, I have no clue what I can pull out of this? We just have very few people in the chat, so I don't know. The spam is kind of real, I suppose. Yep. I don't even know. Thanks for watching, and hope you'll stick with me through the entirety of this series. It should be a pretty good one. Although I definitely think the Mineski have quite an advantage. Insidious Idol do have a game after this, so they probably want to get this getting underway ASAP. I have no idea how they're going to actually combat this. It is going to be Jacko reconnecting. I sure wish that everybody would just tell the entire lobby what was going on. Does he have an internet connection issue? Does his mouse have, I don't know, food stuck in it? I have no idea what's wrong. And without an ETA, it makes it impossible for me to guesstimate at it. But Jacko's going to reconnect, and into the game we go. The Lycanthrope, I'm going to assume he's going towards top lane, or maybe he's going to be the aggressive one. They'll leave the Undying solo safe. They're going to give him a ward. Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be an aggressive rotation coming up from the entirety of Mineski to start things off, exert some control over the enemy's jungle if they do decide to go aggressive. It looks like they haven't completely solidified these lanes just yet. Undying with 2 tangos, a stout shield, as well as a branch and clarity. I'm assuming this is going to be a solo, or at least core Undying. I don't know, but it's not the worst starting items for support either. He was pooled 1 tango, and I don't think they're going to be farming up on the Rubik or on the Disruptor. But Disruptor does start out with those boots first, as well as a set of tangos and a clarity for himself. A pretty aggressive build coming out from this Disruptor. I'm not sure if that's entirely necessary, but it'll help him zone out any offlaner that is available. So it looks like Insidious Idol are just going to have a pretty straight up offlane Undying, but I have no idea where he's running to.
30 seconds to go.
I'm perplexed. I don't know where these lanes are actually going to settle down. It looks like he is going to be solo. Up against the Shadowshawn Morphling lane, he's going to need a decent amount of range harass, but he's also probably not going to die, and he should be just fine. I can see this Undying working out for them and getting a pretty decent timing on his Bectism, although that lane by default is going to go towards Insidious Idol. It can't put that much pressure onto the Morphling without support rotations coming in, that is. Early wards by both teams. Yeah, and I kind of wish this guy would stop talking in spectator chat, but I hope that the players can see it. The early wards are both committed up towards top. A very interesting ward, actually, coming out from the Dire. It's going to give them vision over the rotations through the river. I'm not sure if that's entirely necessary, as they already had the rune ward there. Yeah, very peculiar, as this does catch all of the ramp paths. But it will give them vision if the offlaner, which is going to be the Juggernaut this game, as I have failed to mention, is behind the tower. Yeah, it looks like Juggernaut offlane. Some very peculiar offlaners, mostly because of the bans that we saw. Rubik is going to be harassing out the Juggernaut. Although, after taking the creep aggro, is going to be forced back. We have a deny coming out from Rubik. And this lane equilibrium is going to look pretty good for Insidious, or for Mineski, rather. Although, it's not going to be the prettiest. We are going to have dual lanes coming out from Mineski as they rotate the Disruptor down towards bottom. Zred is going to be shredded apart by this Undying's decay here, as he's now sitting at about 430 HP, which is not really where you want your support to be, and if Disruptor just kind of runs at him, there's nothing he can really do. Maybe he turns in shackles, but as long as he keeps him at arm's length, he'll be fine. Sand King currently doing the best he can to get some jungle stacks, although they haven't been stacked just yet. He does have Burrow Strike as well as his boots. This is the way they have to initiate if they want to get a kill on the bottom lane. Right now, though, it is actually the Undying that's coming out on top in the CS war. 4 and 3 compared to the 2 and 1, as we do have a Shackles going away with the Disruptor. Follow-up coming out from the Burrow Strike, and Jesse Bash looks like he's going to give it the first blood. In fact, I didn't think they'd be able to get those Shackles, and they might be looking for more. The Tombstone is on the ground, and Zred is going to be punched by the Undying. He has quite a lot of base damage with the Decay stack on top of him, but yeah, Disruptor getting caught out in an awkward position I didn't think he would be caught out in, and Insidious Idol are going to be very happy with that early laning. Tinker versus the Razor. Razor's going to be favored in this, although as long as Jacko doesn't die, he's going to be pretty happy with how he's doing. He does not have the large camp, which I really like coming out from Insidious Idol. I don't see enough teams doing this. It is blocking those Tinker's camps. On the Dire side, this is the one you're going to be abusing most, and secondarily, you'll focus on this one, but this is where you want to be stacking. Rubik currently sitting in mid behind the Tinker. Looks like he wants to make the full rotation down towards bottom. Mineski going to eventually commit a full aggressive tri-lane, which honestly they probably should have done from the beginning, potentially expecting Insidious Idol to go aggressive for them. Despite giving up that first kill, not sure who got the last hit there. It is going to be The Sand King picks that up, and under normal circumstances, giving the support the first blood isn't the worst. But as far as Sand King is concerned, he is one of the supports that actually is going to abuse that farm very well early on. It's going to accelerate his Blink Dagger, especially now that we have some stacks going to be attempted to be created by Zred. They already have one at the medium camp, which he'll be able to farm up pretty effectively, as that's going to deny a lot of experience coming out from the tri-lane. And yeah, they're not actually effectively contesting it. We might be able to see 1 or 2 creeps stolen as Frost Mage is falling low. Disruptor will pick that one up with 1 more auto attack turns. It's a little bit harassed, but I'm not sure they can actually farm this up very effectively. It is the Shadow Shaman that's completely rotated off, and the Sand King is nowhere to be found, actually going for a smoke wraparound, potentially on mid. With the boots first, they might actually be able to catch out Jacko here. I don't know, he should know that they're missing, and diving into the March of Machines is probably not the best of ideas, and Sand King's not going to go for it just yet. Still has a little bit of duration on the smoke, is going to time out just now, and I don't know, a stun on the Lycanthrope could be his demise as well, as the Juggernaut's been kind of left unchecked. Level 4 on an offlane Juggernaut, definitely respectable, but it is more or less a 1v1 scenario. 7 and 3, not looking greatest in the CS, but still, not bad. Not bad. More than I expected him to get. Rubik and Disruptor. They do not have a smoke between them, but they do have the boots on the Disruptor, as well as level 2 kinetic field, as well as glimpse are available to lock down a target. Going in the Razor is not the easiest, but if he is playing aggressively, Ysera could be in a bit of trouble. Morphling eats yet another decay, currently sitting at below 500 HP, and that's kind of how this lane is going to go. Undying can't really be zoned out very effectively with the amount of HP. They go into mid, but Razor's already towards the top rune spot. Healing Ward going to keep Juggernaut pretty healthy in this lane. He's going to micro on the back line, so the Lycan can't get close to it. And honestly, Mineski don't have the best heroes to kill that Healing Ward. Disruptor has decent range, as does the Tinker and Rubik. Really, the only one who can consistently kill it is the Tinker, and if Tinker is blinking in to commit to that Healing Ward, it could be problematic for him. The Lycanthrope is being zoned out by the Juggernaut with his Healing Ward currently, and the Sand King's also missing around the map. He has some support inbound coming out from the Rubik and Disruptor. I don't know, this supporting duo coming out from Mineski just hasn't accomplished very much in the early portions of the game. They fed first blood, and that was about it. Rubik is going to stack up the Tinker's camps now that that Sentry Ward has worn off. As good as it is to block it, it doesn't do you much good if you don't consistently do it throughout the game. Yeah. I don't know, even though they're having a slow start, Mineski definitely is still looking pretty good in this game. Tinker going to be bottle crowing up in mid. He's not farming as fast as you'd like to see your Tinker do, but once he farms up this double camp, going his way. Although it's only going to be a triple stack, is up top, Kinetic Field going to come out. No spin from the Juggernaut, and he's going to be forced to pop the Healing Ward. Jagosaurus is actually dropping incredibly low. Burst Strike going to delay that extra damage, and the Healing Ward will be killed off by the Wolves. Spin comes out very late. They won't be able to lift him up, and Oa's taking a lot of damage there. Rather, Joven, it's not going to be enough damage. 6 HP coming out for that Fade Bolt. I thought for sure that would be a kill, but now Ninja Boogie caught in a very awkward situation, but it's Joven who might be the one to fall. Ninja Boogie going to be caught out in the Kinetic Field, did not have enough mana for the Sandstorm. And nobody dies in top lane, surprisingly so, as Mineski all fell very low, and 6 HP on the Juggernaut, need I say more, as Ninja Boogie tanks up the creep wave. He's going to be forced back to base, but currently just making sure that the tower does not take any unnecessary damage. Soul Ring your item on the Tinker, no level 6 just yet, but I'd expect him to pick up his rearm at level 6, although you don't usually see it. Level 6 on Tinker definitely could work out. We have a Haster on the Shadow Shaman. This is not where Jacko wants to be. Razor's pretty late to the party. He does have a Plasma Field to throw, and he will do so as Jacko is falling low. And with the Haster, I think this is pretty much just straight up killing to Jacko. He'll be under the tower, but this is definitely a kill that they can go for. Even if they return with the Shadow Shaman, they're looking for the laser onto the Shadow Shaman, but it's not going to be enough as Razor picks up the kill because of that laser. They will lose the Shadow Shaman to the tower. Shadow Shaman splits the gold between the Tinker as well as the Undying, but still a big win. For Insidious Idol, a trade I'd take most any day. Undying's going to be happy with the experience he got from that, now having his level 6. But that's going to match the level 6 of Shagosaurus there, even though he did lose a little bit of experience to the supports early on. Yeah. Morphling down in bottom, he's going to be rushing towards that Lincoln Sphere, presumably. Potentially just a casual Ring of Health for the extra sustain as they're going into mid. This Link is going to be stolen as Ysera is walking through the Disruptor. Not sure if they didn't have vision or anything, but Jacko is going to fall, and what did that Disruptor do? Absolutely nothing. He had the, I don't know, Thunder Charge to throw out, or the Thunder Strike, excuse me, as well as a couple of auto attacks, and with health damage, that probably could have been a kill onto the Razor, but in the end, it's the Tinker that goes down, and Juggernaut falls up in top, pretty much solo to the Lycan. He dove under tower a little bit too deep, and Lycan with his ultimate was fine. Play hard was there to commit the Fade Bolt as well as the lift. Lycan's going to be forced back to base because of this, so not all is lost for Insidious Idol, and this Tinker, he's not getting off to a good start. He has a Soul Ring just the brown boots, but that's kind of what you expect at this point, and honestly, you'd like to have more. At least for him, his stack has not been touched as, oh my goodness, I believe I might have just lagged out of the game. But there we go, back into it we go, just a little bit of a hiccup there. Yeah, 3-2 our kill score, still anybody's game. This Lycanthrope, despite being up against a Juggernaut and left solo, he's still getting really good farm at 39 and 5, and he's really the hope for Mineski here, and as nice as it is to shut down a Tinker, if you have an unchecked Lycanthrope, that can pretty much solo push down those towers to get Tinker back into shape, so that he can catch up after a slow start, like he's had with the 2 deaths. Tier 1 tower up in top, probably not going to stand for much longer with the range creep as well as Catapult attacking it with Howl. They're going to Sandstorm to counter push a little bit, as well as Glyph it for 5 seconds. We have a lift onto the Sand King. Actually, no, that was a lift onto something else, and they dropped it down to get the Sand King out of the Sandstorm. A little bit of traded cooldowns. It's down in bottom. We do have the Morphling taking some rest, but this game is looking pretty passive. Although the supports coming out from Mineski have rotated a lot, they've been more or less unfruitful in doing so, only being involved in 1 kill. Double damage Juggernaut. He does not have the Omni Slash, and the Burst Strike's going to miss, only level 3 on Ninja Boogie, and that'll be the end of it, as Ninja Boogie is forced out by those wolves, and Rubik's going to be able to scuttle his way to safety. Stacks are also being built at the Ancients. It's only going to be a double stack, and actually it's not going to be a stack at all, since this Sentry Ward right here is placed by Insidious Idol. Tinker is taking a lot of hurt, and Insidious Idol are handling this Tinker very well, but they're not handling the Lycanthrope at all. They've just kind of left him be, and they're saying kind of that they can just deal with this Lycanthrope. He's getting very close to his Vlads, in fact has it almost completed. Tinker is also going to be delivering something on the courier. I think that's just his bottle being recroed to himself. Only 725 gold under Tinker. You should like to see your Tinker. Think about completing those Boots of Travels right about now. But yeah, dying twice will do that to you, as well as only 30 CS at almost 10 minutes, and that's really not where you want your Tinker to be, and I'm actually quite surprised. They're going to try to deward this Sentry, but even if they get it, I'm not sure if it's completely worth it, but now that they get the Observer Ward on top of it, it is as well. They also get the Vision inside the trees, so we'll play coming out from these supporting duos, a 2-for-1.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't
Oh, Ninja Boogie does not have the mana for the Burst Strike, and Zed, he's going to be brought back in, and the Fade Bolt goes out as well. The Undying Tombstone's dropped. It's not slowing him down enough, but Ninja Boogie's kind of caught out in an awkward situation, but no detection coming out on any of these heroes, which is pretty surprising, mostly due to them just dropping the Sentry earlier on the backlines. Omni Slash solos up onto the Disruptor, and now the Undying being chased down. A lot of damage stolen by Ysera. It's 140 now, attempting and deny Roshan potentially. Not going to happen, as Razor just has too much damage for that to be effective. And Insidious Idol continue to trade very effectively, although leaving this Lycanthrope unchecked. He gets tier 1 tower in the meantime, and finishes up his Vlads. He's well on his way towards whatever next item he wants. But 2 out of the 3 lanes are being won by Insidious Idol, and their Juggernaut still had a pretty big impact. With the maxed out Blade Fury, we haven't really seen the effectiveness of that damage, as they haven't been roaming around with them, but he still got the kill on the Disruptor with Omni Slash usage, so Insidious Idol are looking pretty good despite having a Lycanthrope that is going to have to be dealt with one way or another. We almost have that Blink Dagger on the Sand King, which is going to help them in that regard. Sandstorm will make quick work of this camp, although he might not have the experience for his level 6. He'll get very close if he doesn't have it. I think this is going to be enough. But yeah, we will have that Blink Burrow Strike initiation coming out from Ninja Boogie, and if they're able to kill the Lycanthrope a couple of times after this, Insidious Idol are going to be pretty okay with how things are working out for them. As we switch to net worth, as well as into the graphs at about 10 minutes, and it's a slight favor of Mineski, actually, after the stacks have been farmed up, but still nothing too major at only 500 gold, and that's going to dip down as well. And experience in about 3,000 lead, the for Insidious Idol. Oh my goodness. Stumbling over my words here just a little too early, as the 2 supports are going to try to make this Tinker's life even better. They're looking for the Sentry, but it has timed out. So they should be free to stack up this camp one more time. Tinker does have his Boots of Travel as well as his Soul Ring. A little bit delayed, but it's fine. We do have a Deny going out to the tier 2 tower up on top that Lycanthrope has been chipping at pretty incessantly for the last couple of minutes, and he'll be able to get that one as well. Looks like we're going to be seeing a Medallion of Courage coming out from Joven. Joven, with that Medallion of Courage, will be able to take Roshan very effectively, although I would have liked to see one of the supports pick it up, or maybe even the Undying if they really want it that bad. Undying, however, is going to be going for the Mechanism, and actually has a good timing. He's CSing better than the Tinker, I think. No, after the stacks, not going to be the case. With the Blink Dagger on a Ninja Boogie, as well as a level 4 Burst Strike, I think this Undying is dead. They don't stun him up just yet, and actually take a lot of damage, as well as, being pretty tanky with the extra strength, and Tinker TP's in, drops the March onto the ground. The Omnislash comes out, doesn't do enough damage to shackle up the Lycanthrope being shocked down as the Tinker gets stunned yet again. They're going to lose Tinker. Buyback from the Undying. He wants to get back into this fight, but they're going to lose the Rubik's Well. And now, on the backlines, it is going to be a triple kill. Oh my goodness. Oa just manning up, and it's doing wonders for him with 3 stacks into that decay, as well as that magic or the amp damage coming out from his ultimate. They're able to clean up house. I don't know, it looked really sketchy for Mineski there for a while, and although it's not the flashiest of ultimates, them fighting around the tombstone as well as Undying's ult really paid off for them, and now that's going to be a tier 1 tower going the way of Mineski as well. It's very weird to see a buyback this early on coming out from your Undying. That's going to secure himself his mechanism, and he's going to look really good in farm after getting what was a triple kill down in bottom. We're going to have smoke coming out from the Lycanthrope as well as from the Disruptor, and I think this is straight into the Roshan pit. They don't have a lot of mana to speak of, and won't have a Wolf summon, so they might not go for it. Probably going to ask the Tinker for a couple of bottle charges first. Yeah, come on. Give Joven that sweet juicy bottle. Jacko. No, he's just going to go back to base. Never mind, as the smoke is actually coming out from Insidious Idol. They have a blink, and they're checking to see if it pops, and oh, they found the Undying. This is going to be a dieback for Oa here, as he gets hexed up the Kinetic Field and Stack Storm drop. It might actually be enough to save him as they drop the Tombstone. They need to back out here, and Ninja Boogie's actually going to be the one to die. Only a couple more punches is all they need, but they're going to bring back Zred. Serpent Wards are going to focus down on the Undying Tombstone, but Serpent Wards for Tombstone, definitely a favorable trade for the Undying, and now with the Lycanthrope and Tinker inbound, they're going to Burst Strike up to the high ground. It lands onto Jacko. He's going to eat the Static Field as well. Ninja Boogie's not falling to the Marching Machines. Waveform over the top is going to do a lot of damage to play hard, but I think it just caught Festival's life. He has the double damage room, but the laser from Jacko is going to secure that kill. A very spread out fight. Rubik for Borfling, as well as the cooldown spent of the Undying ulti, as well as the Serpent Wards. Those Serpent Wards not being used to the tower is a big win for Mineski, not to mention that they got to farm those up with the Lycanthrope as well as Disruptor. That's going to be your level 1 Necro book for this Lycanthrope, and I think he's just been left unchecked for too long, and Tinker's been able to catch up admirably. 70 CS at 14 minutes, or almost 15 minutes in, is not too shabby when you consider that a lot of those are going to be ancient creeps, and he's going to farm up another stack on top of it. Jacko now has his Blink Dagger completed at 15 minutes in. This is exactly where your farm on your Tinker is supposed to be, or where you want it to be, rather. This is perfect item progression coming out from Jacko. Tier 1 tower in mid is going to fall presumably to the healing ward. They're actually just going to stick the wolves onto it. They get the auto attack, and I didn't consider those heroes, but or that skill, and I thought about the healing ward, and since they have that, it's not going to be a reliable way to get the heals towards the tower, and Lycan with the deny onto that tier 1 tower. Insidious Idol are going to continuously fall behind. This Morphling is not getting online fast enough with a Perseverance, and that's it. He can't fight. And once he gets the Lincoln Sphere, he can't fight. He needs another item on top of that, probably a shotgun. And even when he has the shotgun, we might be seeing a BKB coming out from this Tinker. And then it's just going to be used for the supports. And as nice as it is blowing up those supports to start off a fight is into the pit, they jump in with Ninja Boogie. They're going to kill the Necro unit with the Razor's Plasma Field, and then just back out of the Roshan pit, TP into the Wolves. Ninja Boogie is going to get blinked on. No, he's going to blink towards the other side, and he's going to be linked up by the Razor. We have the ultimate coming out. That's a fast chicken, but it's not going to last very long as he's going to be shackled up. Now the Wolf, he's going to be followed up by the Burrow Strike. Here comes the Undying over, and he gets a beautiful decay. Where's the heal going the way of the Lycanthrope? It's not going to be necessary. He goes to the backline, Stack Storm Kinetic Field, silences up the Morphling. No Strength Morph coming out. It's going to cost the Disruptor his life, but still very worth it. It's from the high ground Razor doing a lot of damage to Oa, but Oa, I don't know, fighting around this Tombstone and now getting Serpent Ward stolen, this is a huge win again for Mineski. This Undying pick, I had my reservations about it in the draft, but it seems to be working out so well when you give that hero those extra levels, as long as you're able to find a laning situation where he can actually function. And into the Roshan pit they go with a heal going towards the Lycanthrope. It's not the biggest heal, it's only level 1 and there's not very many units around. But with Roshan already at half health, I'm not sure if Insidious Idol are able to get here fast enough. They're going to try with all their might, Ninja Boogie blinking towards, and actually it's just going to counter push mid. They're going to have to give this Roshan and another huge map objective going the way of Mineski. Tier 1 tower mid still stands, and it's what allows them to potentially fight after the Roshan falls. Roshan's actually not going to fall. It's sitting at about 1100 HP, as we do have a glimpse. And the Undying falling pretty low. The TP into the Wolves. They're going to hex up the Wolf, but Tinker is going to blink up to the high ground, now spamming out those rockets. I don't think they can fight into this Roshan pit with marches down on the ground. Jacko's going to drop one, then blink away as Ninja Boogie is going to catch out J. Sebastian. Now with the waveform on top of the plasma field, it's going to be enough damage. They're not going to have the Disruptor for this fight, but Lycan, he wants to clean up this Roshan as fast as possible. This is just such an awkward engagement. He summons up the Necron unit, then gets hexed, now shackled, but Zred, he's getting shredded by the Wolves, and now with the Marching Machines down on the ground, Roshan's still alive, but they're fighting inside the March. They can't do do this. Spin comes out from Shagosaurus. He doesn't want to get locked down. This is the most awkward engagement around the Roshan pit I've ever seen. Now inside the Roshan pit goes with Joven, and Joven, he's going to be able to secure this one. Where's the Aegis? There's no Aegis. Steel coming out from the Sand King as Ninja Boogie's too darn low to go for it. And, well, Ninja Boogie caught an awkward situation, just jumps into Jacko. Jacko with one more auto attack, cleans that one up. Now Boots of travel back to base. It is going to be an LOL coming out from the Spectator, but they're going to be able to silence up Bethel. Bethel just ripped apart by the Lycanthrope. Moral of this last fight is don't give away Lycanthrope free farm in the early portions of the game. He's coming away with now a Necro 2, and the push is real from this team. Mineski, they have a pretty convincing lead, despite only leading by 1 kill. It's really where the towers come into play, as well as that Roshan going their way. They bought back on the Undying, but that's about it, and the gold advantage is now just going to start plummeting into their favor. Probably about 7,000 after that tower update, and also after that fight. They're going to have an experience advantage of about 5,000 to 6,000. We have a blink forward by Ninja Boogie, or rather blink backward, I should say. As now Mineski go into the tier 2 towers. I'm not sure there's much that they can do to stop this push. They don't have the best counter push. They have Ether Shock and Sandstorm, but that's about it. Ninja Boogie waiting in the wings for a beautiful epicenter initiation. They're going to glimpse back Ninja Boogie, but don't lock him down afterwards. But he's going to have to use his blink there. That's on cooldown for 10 seconds. The 10 seconds is honestly enough to take this tier 2 tower. They've already used their glyph, and now with the blink dagger canceled for another 3, they should be able to take this pretty easily. Tinker's also here if they want to initiate the fight afterwards. Jacko drops a March, and I don't think they can jump into this. So much zoning. Lycanthrope gets the last hit on the tower. And yeah, with the marching machines on the ground as well as the tombstone, there's nothing that Insidious Idol can actually do, and they didn't even need to drop the tombstone there. Zombie House is not necessary, and Rubik, he steals the Plasma Field. It's not the most impressive spell to steal, but now down to the bottom tier 2 tower, Mineski are just snowballing completely out of control. They have the tools they need, and they're about to have a pipe on this Undying. Once they have that, Insidious Idol's ability to fight is almost completely negated. Physical damage from Razor is nice and all, but he has a mech as well as the makings of a BKB, potentially Aghanim Scepter. It's not enough. They have Omni Slash, but they can't isolate a single target inside the teamfights. That spell is more or less useless. It's TP into the wolves. Jacko drops a March. He blinks towards the sidelines into the trees very aggressively. He's going to drop a kinetic field around his Tinker. Not sure what that's about. Is on the backlines. We are going to have the epicenter initiation onto Oa. Oa is falling low. He's going to heal with the mechanism, however, and now heals up with the Soul Orb. Too many units around, and they're going to be able to kill the Shadow Shaman first. The wards have not been stolen by Playhard. He's taking a lot of damage from those Serpent wards, but now they glimpse back. Assyria is going to try to TP out him instantly. It's going to be enough damage. No, barely enough to save himself. The tier 2 tower is still going to be under some pretty heavy sieging as they also feed away the Serp wards. Now healing ward stolen by Playhard. That's a wonderful spell for this Rubik. Just keep that on the back lines and there's nothing they can do to stop this. And they recognize it. They just have to back. They dropped all of their initiation spells, lost their Shadow Shaman. And now I think high ground is not out of the question for Mineski here, as I think they still have the Aegis on the Lycanthrope. It's now a Necro 3, and on top of that, an Ogre Club on the Courier coming out from Jesse Vash.
You know the drill.
It's scary. It's really scary, and I think this is the opening they need. There's a spin coming out from the Juggernaut, but he's going to be forced to TP out of there. They will get a lot of damage. A huge Burrow Strike going to land on 2. The Stack Storm Kinetic Field combo, however, it's going to keep Lycanthrope alive as Ninja Boogie's going to be shredded down. They lose the Aegis on the Lycan, but, oh no, Razor getting a decent amount of damage stolen. Actually, max 224, and, oh, Zred just shredded apart by this Lycanthrope. And now the Razor, he's man fighting up against him. He does have very little damage with the Dagon of Jacko. They'll be able to get that kill. They toggle away the... Tower aggro from Lycanthrope, or do they even do that? It's not going to be enough damage as he's all on the backlines. They probably need to keep this Lycanthrope safe and just back off, so T3 Tower defended, I suppose, but still a win for Mineski in the raw numbers of it. Pipe completed by the Undying, Blink Dagger on the Rubik. I think Mineski can just rinse and repeat and do that again. They might wait out for the next Roshan, but that's too long. What are you talking about? 4 minutes? I don't think they want to wait that long. They're just going to wait until they can find a pickoff, however. Then they'll have a very easy opening, especially if the Sand King's the one that dies. Without the Sand King, Insidious Idol don't have a great way of initiating those team fights, or even hoping to catch somebody off guard. And with the pipe, a lot of that damage is going to be negated. Honestly, if Mineski wanted to, and wanted to just throw caution to the wind, they could jump in, but with the Blink Dagger and the Play Hard, he steals up the Healing Ward again. That's such a huge spell to be giving away. I can't really underplay that. The Lycanthrope Wolves and the push coming out from Mineski is going to be bolstered so much by that. It's effectively like having a Juggernaut of your own on your team. I'm a little bit concerned that there's something wrong, as I'll go ahead and check out my Skype messages. Look like everything is fine. I'll go ahead and check out the chat while we have a little bit of lull in the action, as everybody's just kind of grouping up. Yeah, it's not pretty. Coming out from Insidious Idol, I just don't think you can afford to give away Lycan that early in the draft. And now Lycan with the Reaver, despite the slight nerf that he saw in the last patch, it didn't hurt him that much, and now it's not going to matter at all, as he's going to have enough tanking power. He just got the casual stages mask, no medallion necessary. Yeah, it's going to come down to bottom, and it's going to come hard as they have a huge death ball push going their way. There's a mechanism on the Razor, but as far as big items are concerned, that's about it. Blink Dagger on your Sand King, drums on the Juggernaut. It's not enough. They need more. They need more time, but Ninja Boogie is jumping in. It's not going to do anything, though. The pipe is going to absorb a lot of that damage. Waveform on top is going to do a decent amount, and it's been coming out from Shagasaurus. It's just not going to be enough. Everybody's just falling from the AoE. Razor's falling. Everybody's falling. Zred is dying. That's a buyback from your Juggernaut, and GG called out by Zred. They lost all hope to win that fight. Dagon is being leveled up by the Tinker as the last ditch fight is coming out. They get a nice Burrow Strike onto 2, but Ninja Boogie would have fallen anyway. A very convincing win for Mineski. I don't think we're going to see them giving away Lycanthrope in the next game, especially on Dire side. I just don't think you can do that. On even footing, or if the team is better than you, I don't think you can give away Lycanthrope. I'm not going to say that they are. I definitely think Insidious Idol have it in them to take a game off of Mineski, tie up this best of 2 series 1-1, but we'll have to see as game 2 coming up shortly. Hope to see you soon. I'm GranitV here on HeflaTV 1, or HeflaTV 2, excuse me. So don't go anywhere. More games.